Good morning, dolls, and welcome to Little Gretchen's workshop. So it's time for me to really get these bedrooms together for our guests. Now, this is a double bed, and I think it'll work really well in the room that is in the attic where I just created the stairwell. Now, I'm removing all the old linen and mattress and the bed skirts and everything because I'm starting from scratch. So I actually need to repair the bed and make all new linen for it as well, including the mattress. So the linens will be done in another video, but today we're going to actually get the bed together. So as you can see, this bed needs a footboard, it needs legs, and as you can see here, it's got a lot of glue on it that needs to be removed, and it needs to be sanded down really good. So here I'm just cutting off that extended edge on the end of the area where I'm going to make a new footboard, just so that everything is flat and flush, so that when I glue the footboard, it'll fit really nicely on the end. Now there was quite a bit of glue on it. As you can see, I started in the beginning. I began to sand it, but quickly realized it would just peel off. Now, dolls, here I am just sawing through the slats that are in the middle of the bed because I'm going to remove them so I can reposition them. The original design had the mattress sitting on top of the slats, but when I get done, it's going to rest on the slats between the side rails like a life-size mattress does. Now, I'm really glad they came out really easily. I'm really pleased, even though the bed is a little bit scrappy looking. It has a beautiful headboard, and I really think that I can do something fun with it to really make it work for the setting I'm trying to create. Now, after removing the original slats, I'm sizing them to make sure that they fit in between the side rails, but I'm lowering them so that the new mattress will have something to rest on. Now, there are parts of this bed where I will be using new wood, but I would recommend anytime you can salvage or reuse the existing wood from a piece of furniture, I definitely consider that a best practice if at all possible. I do apologize for the position of my camera, but I did add one of the slots right under the headboard to give additional support to that portion of the bed. And now I've added the slat to the end of the bed so that it will help support the footboard. Now, although I taped everything up with painter's tape to allow it to dry, I did use this opportunity to cut off the two remaining legs that were up toward the footboard and allow the bed to dry. Now, I am using a jumbo craft stick to put a main, or what I call a load-bearing slat, in the middle of the bed. So in addition to using the jumbo craft stick to add to the center of the bed as a load-bearing slat, I also used the jumbo craft stick to create my footboard at the end of the bed. After everything was fitted and set, I did tape it up and allow it to dry. While that was drying, I did realize I had another piece of a slat, so I trimmed off the part that was split and I used it as additional support down near the foot of the bed, because based on how me and my family have always used beds, we sit on the end of the bed or the edge of the bed, so I thought that adding an additional slat for added support would be a good idea. And here I'm just admiring how nicely everything is drying. Now, although my piece was drying, I couldn't resist handling it anyway, so I started to consider how I would make the legs. Now, I am making legs for the whole bed because I cut the other ones off. So I'm using these spindles that I have, and they were the perfect size and shape to make legs for this bed. The bed is pretty simple, so I wanted the legs to be something pretty straightforward. Definitely not anything that would compete with the headboard. So here I am, dolls, doing my precision calculations so that I can cut the spindles at the exact right place so that they'll be even all the way around the bed. And one more try, and I think that's it. I'll just sand it the rest of the way. This is an above view, and this is the side view of that leg that I added to the footboard. At this point, I had just had it with the peeling glue, so I just used my acetone to get as much of the glue off as I could, and it actually stripped off some of the stain, which is fine because I'm going to paint the bed. So now that I've shown you how to do the legs that I put at the footboard, I'm going to show you the ones I put at the headboard. And I just added it to the existing structure that was already there, and the spindles matched perfectly. So I trimmed them down to the right height and glued them on. Now, dolls, this is a process you'll definitely need to practice patience. But I must confess, I didn't practice patience and I peeled off the painter's tape before the legs were dry. The slats were dry, but I just wanted to see how everything was coming together. Now, from this angle, you can see how the acetone kind of bleached the wood, but it doesn't matter because I'm doing a totally different paint treatment on it when I'm done. And you see I've added that additional slat there for support at the end of the bed. Everything is dried, nice and firm. So now I'm just fitting in my mattress. Now this is an extra thick piece of foam, which is my preferred material for making my dolls mattresses because I definitely want them to be comfortable. So now that I've sanded things down, I've got everything smooth, I want to go ahead and show you what I did for the finish. Now, anytime I'm going to paint something, especially if I'm trying to make it look vintage, I still want to put the stain or dark paint under it. Now, this piece of wood I'm showing you was the base that the original mattress was made onto. So I'm trimming it so that it will sit in between the slats so that the whole mattress will rest inside. And after trimming it off and making sure that it fits properly, I sized it on top of the piece of foam. I set that aside and added a nice thick layer of the crackle medium to the body of my bed frame. And after allowing it to dry a little bit, I went on to add my coat of linen colored folk art paint. Now, as I put it on, it started to crackle immediately. I was really loving the effect of it. I had to stay focused and finish the job, but I really, really like this effect. I feel like it makes it look very aged and weathered. And I think it'll be a really great contrast between the aged, weathered look of the bed and then the beautiful linens I've chosen for this project. Now, dolls, if you've enjoyed this video today, definitely let me know in the comments. Also, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Little Gretchen's Workshop. Bye-bye now, dolls.